And we should now be live. Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing tonight? Let's just check everything's fine there. It is glorious. Hello, Gajira. I know Glitch Gaming is here and Barger is here at least. Hello, Spark the T-Rex as well. I'm just going to give a couple of minutes for people to drop in. Finished up some Doom Eternal. Good game, the first Doom. I thought Doom Eternal wasn't quite as good as the first one, but yeah, both pretty decent, good games. How am I? I'm doing pretty good. Like I say, me and Dane have just come back from seeing the FNAF movie. So yeah, it's been a pretty relaxed, good day. The park, the new map for the park today is ready to go, as you can see. And just as a little bit of tidbit, so this particular island I've created here is supposed to look a bit like the Isle of Sodor. And if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's the titular island from the children's show Thomas the Tank Engine. And as a kid, I was a massive fan of Thomas the Tank Engine. So I thought I would recreate the Isle of Sodor for my new park. Thank you, Spark the T-Rex. We do it too, please. And today, as you can see by the list of names we have at the side of the screen, we are actually maybe going to have compies on this map. So the purpose of this park is going to be, it's going to be a park for all the little animals in the park, more or less. The smaller species of animals that we have to choose from. I'll answer that question in a minute, Barger. So we're going to pick most of the smaller species. We're going to try and do some family-friendly sort of enclosures. We're going to try and do some new and interesting things with park building. For example, as you can see, I've already got something on the go, and this is going to be the Yeholopterus enclosure, and we're going to see if we can kind of keep them to roughly this area without any cages at all, and see how it goes. We're gonna let them go free and see how it goes. That's going to be the first job for this park. But you can see we've already got the entrance made up. This is a modification actually of an entrance design that Evo posted, a sort of triple level one. Hers was a bit more compressed than this one. I wanted a bit more space in order to put the hotel and to do the enclosure area. But while we do this, we're also going to look at, I'm going to be going over how to fill gaps like this one, doing nice looking plaza areas, as well as doing enclosure design and stuff. So yeah, there'll be hopefully quite a lot in this for this park. Actually, this park build. This is a whole new park. So the first question really is, what sort of environment shall we give the Yeholopterus? What sort of biome do we want to go for them? Give me your ideas. Temperate. Sync down the viewing log and place some deco around the main space. Yeah, we'll be doing plenty of that, Glitch Gaming, for some of the bigger, smaller species that we've got. Say like the chasmosaurs and stuff. Small bushes and temperate trees. Okie dokie, we'll go for something that's quite nicely temperate then. So I'm going to get started on this. I want something a little lighter here. It's fine. So, who was it? Sorry. Barger asked me what my opinions on the Godzilla franchise is. Firstly, I didn't even realize that Godzilla could be considered a franchise.
What should be considered a franchise?
Yes.
Tea.
Ah, thank you for the tea. Thank you.
No problem.
Dane delivering tea to me. Yeah, I didn't know we could even consider Godzilla an actual franchise these days. I've only ever seen 2 Godzilla films in my time. The 1998 one with Mr. Broderick, which, from what I understand, is not talked about by Godzilla fans, and the one they released a few years ago with is it Cranston in it? He from Malcolm in the Middle and Breaking Bad. I saw that one as well. I probably won't earn many friends with saying this, but I like the 1998 Matthew Broderick one. I like that one. I know people slag it off because Godzilla is very, dinosaur-y in it, and it's very, New York focused and everything else. But I like it. I think it's a decent movie. I thought Broderick was actually kind of good in it as well. And I thought the design of Godzilla itself was an interesting reinterpretation of what Zilla should look like. But I know that there are a lot of people who absolutely hate the redesign of Zilla and don't consider it an actual, Godzilla design. That's why they call it Zilla instead, which I can also understand. Redesigns of classic characters, for want of a better term, can be questionable sometimes. The biggest problem is Zilla doesn't act anything like Godzilla. It's not a force of nature, an allegory for nuclear destruction. It's just an animal. Well, that's why I kind of like it, because it does not have that allegoristic message, which I actually kind of don't particularly like. I think it's a really terrible message to have, that this is just an allegory for destroying the planet. It's similar to why I don't really like Avatar, the blue skin Avatar, not Mr. Anime Avatar, because I really hate the sort of not lecturing, but it's very clear that the movie is just an environmental message wrapped up in a film, and given how important it is to protect the environment, most people are just going to the film to watch a bunch of blue people smash stuff up. The environmental message is going to be lost in the action. That's just my thoughts anyway. If you sink the planters, you can get a nice effect. That's true. I forgot about that. Maybe we could do that for under these perches. I actually think these are really horribly designed. Sorry to just change the topic of conversation briefly. I actually really hate the design of these perches. I think they're awful. I have seen better animal enrichment and sleeping places in a lot of zoos I've been to. This is just awful. It's like the cheapest looking thing. Anyway. We were talking about Godzilla. Is this park mod free? No, this park is not mod free, and I will never make a park that is mod free. As I explained in my last video, I don't make mod-free parks because this game is not a big enough difference from Jurassic World Evolution 1, in my opinion, to warrant it. Which is I know a lot of people don't like the fact that, parks are built with mods. But I would say a lot of, my defense is always that a lot of mods don't make, my most common saying about this whole thing, mods don't make good parks. They make good parks even better. If you don't do very basic things like height difference, like big open areas, big thick pathing, nice enclosure design, it doesn't matter what mods you have, your park will look like shit regardless. So, my belief is that even if people are making parks with mods, there is still stuff you can get from them about how to design a good park. I'm pretty sure if a console player had mods, the park would be better. Potentially. But again, I think from what I've, because I've been part of Evo's moderating community for a long time, and from what I've seen, from all the people that have watched her videos and talked on the Discord, most people seem to struggle with coming up with an entrance, or after they make a nice entrance and put down a first dinosaur, how to expand the park, or making a nice looking enclosure. And these are things that mods don't do anything with. What is your favourite Jurassic World Evolution 2 mod? Definitely Kaya Move It mod. That's the mod that I've been able to use to... so it's basically called... It's his mod tool pack. It includes a lot of stuff. The ability to place whatever structure anywhere you like, such as the lagoon decorations, but also the ability to sink stuff into the ground. Like here, this gate is actually sunk slightly into the ground. Same as all these. It really does boost the basic park building. The Wii toolbox, really, it does. Metri is big. Well, it's big compared to a Compy, but if you look at the other big carnivores, Metri is actually kind of small. It's like the smallest of the biggest, if you get what I mean. I think it's a little too bare right now. I think I'm going to place in just a couple more plants. Because this looks just a little too bare still. Maybe a couple of patches of... See, I want it quite open. And we're going to place down quite a lot of foliage anyway. Maybe actually just planting down some... I quite like to do this in enclosures as well. Actually just plant like the planters down. Manually place down some plants in here. But actually, I think once we go over the rest of this with ground texture, I think this is actually all right and kind of sufficient. If anything, it needs a few water plants. That's what it needs. It needs a few plants in the water. Yeah, and maybe a few flowers as well. And maybe... Actually, you know what I want? Where's that Mediterranean palm? These Mediterranean palms, if you do use Kaidenix mods, these Mediterranean palms work really well as just like bushes if you sink them into the ground. Just like that. around a couple of these, we'll put down a few other trees. Do we have a couple of temperate trees? Yep, and maybe one of a different color, just for a little bit of differentiation. Over here, maybe. Yeah. That's a bit better. Right, we'll go over this lightly with some ground texture. I think we'll go over it with ferns to start with. Keep ferns to sort of around where the water is. That's a bit much. I want rid of those. The little one I'm happy with, the big one's not. We'll put down a few... let's turn the intensity up a bit. Put down some flowers and some logs, hopefully. Can we get some logs, please? Apparently not. And then we'll put down just some flowers around where the water is. Now, a nice mixture of vegetation types that, you know, an insect eater like Yehalopterus would want. Sorry, I am trying to keep up with chat. I was just focusing on that. What's my favorite dinosaur? In the game or of all time? In your opinion, which is better, Jurassic World Evolution or Jurassic World Evolution 2? I don't think you can really compare them. Oh, right, we need to go and get some skins, actually, for the Yehalopterus. Let's go and do that now. Yeah, I don't think you can really compare Jurassic World Evolution 1 to Jurassic World Evolution 2. Jurassic World Evolution 2 is such a massive difference. But I do think there are elements of Jurassic World Evolution 1 that are done better than they are in Jurassic World Evolution 2. The campaign is so much nicer to play in Jurassic World Evolution 1 than it is in number 2. Some of the maps, I would also argue, are better designed. And honestly, I think a lot of the things that this game added, like the scientist system, like the amenity modification system, while nice to have, didn't really do that much for the idea of building. I really do miss some of the Jurassic World Evolution 1 buildings. I miss the big hotel. I miss the small gift shop with that nice rounded entrance bit. I miss the restaurant with that textured wood and stonework on the outside. I miss the storm defense buildings, because the storm defense upgrades it is a genuine downgrade. The storm defense upgrade in this game is a genuine downgrade from the first game. So what shall we do? So again, for the animals in this park, are we going to go with male and female skins, or just whatever skins we like? I agree, we need the big tree back. I miss that big tree a ton. Whatever skins we like. Okay then. So how we'll do it then is we'll have male and female. So okay, well we'll do some where it's whatever skin we like, and we'll do some where it's male and females. For Yehalopterus, I think, given they look like butterflies, we'll go with whatever skins we like. We'll try and come up with some bright ones. So what we'll do is we'll have 3 different skins. I'll pick one, and the other 2 you guys can figure out. So my favorite is the Yukon River and Rana one. So that's my favorite. Sorry, Calcorana. Calcorana. Glitch Gaming says Killian Mountains and Pelophylax. Yeah, that also looks really butterfly-esque, doesn't it? I love that one. Killian Mountains and Pelophylax. And one more from folks. I got the Lost World book by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle on Kindle for 18p. Bargain, Jacob, because that book is a masterpiece. War of the Worlds as well was another good one. Just having a look. Shall we have I mean, what colours have we got? We've had the blue, so we've got a pink, we got the black and blue, we got sort of the green, we got the red. So let's try and find one that works with the greens. Ooh. That's quite... Because I'm just thinking that the paddock itself is also very green, so it's got to stand out. I think that works. Let's just double check what it looks like with the... Oh, it does look good with the Rana. Lithobates or Rana, what do people think? So I think it looks good with them both. Lithobates. Okay, so Chaplin Valley and Lithobates. Okay, so and I think we'll go for sort of like 3, because they're quite small, so 3 of each color combination. By the way, is the stream coming through okay for people? Evo cancelled hers because she was having problems earlier, I heard. So I just want to make sure that, is it coming through okay? No serious problems? Excellent. Excellent. Okay, Yehalopterus. Yukon River and Calcarana. And then we've got Quillian Mountains and Pelophylax. And then we've got Chaplin Valley and Lithobates. Okay, now we need to see okay, so you can deliver them outside. So I'm going to stick the first 3 in here, and then we'll see how it works. I think Jurassic World Evolution 2 should let you change vehicle skins. I agree with you there, or we should have placeable vehicles. Every vehicle in the game, the helicopters, the tour rides, etc., we should be able to place as decorations. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is just keep an eye on it from this view and see how they work without a dome. I don't mind if they go sort of a little away. I suppose I do kind of mind if they go very far away. I mean, my hope was that the insect feeders would keep them reasonably close, because they've got to go and eat from the insect feeders, obviously. This one is just... Where is this one? He was just happily sat on the rocks. I mean, it does look like they're staying within a reasonable area of territory. So I think we can call that experiment a success. If you sink down an aviary under it and flip it, they will stay. Really? Interesting. We'll keep that as a backup. I do kind of want to... because I don't mind if they fly around. You know, I want them to be a little free flying, because I don't really see them as being dangerous to people. Where's the Yehalopterus gone? Oh, he's there. Yeah, I don't mind if they're relatively free flying, as long as they stay, you know, within an area. Which it seems like they're doing. Helicopters should actually crash the ground. Agreed. What episode are you on in Life on Our Planet? I'm not. I'm not watching it. Primarily because it's on Netflix, and I'm not prepared to have another subscription. I subscribe to Amazon Prime, and that's the only subscription I'm willing to have at the moment. And I had so much trouble getting off of Amazon after I did like after I subscribed to them to watch what was the Apple one? Prehistoric Planet. I had so much trouble getting off of their subscription list for that. Why are you all flying over here? What's so good about over here? So this whole area has just become their territory now, which I love. And they absolutely adore the rocks over here, but not the rocks that are in their area. They prefer the rocks to perches. Well, that kind of defeats the object of them being perches. Shouldn't it be the other way around? But you know, they are all flying back. Maybe if I put like... They seem to quite like that big rock. So maybe if I put a couple more rocks in here for them, they will stay around here more. There we go. Yeah, he's happy with the rock. There, he's happy with the rock. There we go. We've given them a veritable smorgasbord of rocks that they could go to. I love it. But, you know, they're staying within the area, which is what I wanted them to do. Hello, Turbo Soul. Blimey, we're half an hour in already. Do you think there should be a Jurassic World Evolution 3? um... Do I think there should be a Jurassic World Evolution 3? No, I don't. I think if they did a Jurassic World Evolution 3, I would accuse them of being money grabbers. And the problem is, nothing they could ever do would live up to the expectations of the community. Like, the community would want so much. You know, they would want baby dinosaurs, and they would want mating, and they would want bridges and waterfalls and tunnels and variable depth water and amphibians and make your own hybrids, and there would be such a long list of expectations for a Jurassic World Evolution 3 that it would almost be impossible for them to achieve it. It's kind of I don't know if anyone's a fan of the series, but it's a similar situation to Valve and with Half-Life 2 Episode 3. Like, they're almost to a point now where there's no point them making it because it will never ever live up to the expectations of the community. I think they had a good run. If I were them, I would, you know, we've had a good run. Let's not give the franchise. If I was Universal, I would say, let's give the franchise to somebody else. Let's see what they can do with it, and leave Frontier to do something else. And then if I was Frontier, I would then go and make my own dinosaur park game in the same vein as Planet Zoo or Planet Coaster, and see if they can do it better than Prehistoric Kingdom, which I don't think they could. Baby dinosaurs are tough. In fact, it's a video. I do want to make a video on it at some point about why baby dinosaurs probably won't ever come to a game like this. I think they need to make an update that adds Jurassic World accurate buildings. Yeah, like, I mean, I don't have any specific requests for updates, but I do think we don't need any more species. Well, that's I think in terms of dinosaur species, I think we are very good. No, I'm on the 1%. Bye-bye, Glitch. Ah, yes, remember Star Wars, indeed. So we've done a nice enclosure with our dinosaurs. Let's do some tips and tricks for your own parks here. So there's two areas which I want to work on in this particular area stream. This bit of land here at the front and this plaza. Let's do this land at the front first. Basically, whenever you're building a park, you're always going to end up with little gaps. And effective gap fill can really enhance an area. And we're just going to do some gap filling down here. And what we're going to do is I think we're going to do some nice little gardens. Or I say little gardens. We're going to make it a nice little garden area. We're going to make use of these log pieces because they are quite good. And we're going to make a kind of just a little decorative section. So we're going to tip this tree up just a bit. Yep, that's fine. This one we're going to have sort of the other way around. And buried it a little. And then this one we're going to have sort of standing up between them. Yeah. And now we're going to bed these in with vegetation. Now usually I suggest go with the biggest vegetation you intend to use first. But since I want to keep all the vegetation around here fairly low, I'm just going to go in with, you know, as I go. Whoops. Whoops. Thank you. So we're going to start with our big coveragey ones first. So that's like the palms. I love these banana palms as well. They'd work really well as bushes. Now obviously if you're not using mods, sinking stuff into the ground you cannot do. But I would suggest, you know, you've got all those smaller bushes that you can manually place. Like the temperate bushes. They would work just as well. In fact, let's put a couple of them down as well. Something you can also do to make your gap filling stand out a bit more is definitely change the ground texture. So I'm going to put this as sand, just to make it stand out a bit. A little bit more. Because I don't like that. I want the lines along the path to be very clear and distinct. There we go. Now, normally I would suggest put some rocks in here, but since the Yehalopterus like to lay on the rocks, we'll avoid doing that. I do want to put down a couple of trees, not too many. But these smaller fir trees, I think, work quite well. Is there a slightly shorter variety? Yeah, something like that. Oh, and of course, the Yehalopterus is going to land on the logs. Oh, okay. Well, since they're going to land on the logs, whatever, let's put in some rocks then. We're going to put in some black rocks. It's very distinctive, a different color. Shows up well on the sand. Jurassic Park, The Land Before Time crossover movie when? I'm not sure they could ever do it, because I believe The Land Before Time is... it's not a Universal product, is it? I cannot quite remember who did make that film. Lovely. Just a nice little bit of artistic gardening there. And there's a bit of a gap here. So for this, we're going to put in... let's see... I want something that's not a plant. Okay, we're going to put one of them in. And we're going to sink it into the ground just a little bit. And then we're going to use those temperate bushes just like that. How are the Aeholopterus actually doing? More or less good. Excellent. It was distributed by Universal. Oh, well, they might have the rights then. Hey Fletcher, have you ever played Godzilla for the PlayStation 4? I'm afraid not. My console generation stopped at the Xbox 360. I never had anything beyond that because by that point in time, I had a gaming PC after that. So wait, Fletcher, how do you not already have Netflix? Because Netflix has never ever had anything I ever wanted to watch. Right, so hotels. I hate, and this is, I think, not going to be a different opinion to what most people have. I absolutely hate the Jurassic World hotels. I hate the fact that they are so asymmetrical. Both the small one and the large one. But I do like the fact that they have these pools on the top. So a little tip for people when they're placing hotels of this type in their parks: try to make sure that your pool is overlooking something nice. Yeah, have it overlooking an enclosure. Make sure they can see an enclosure or see something from the pool. For this particular hotel, they can kind of see what's going on down here. And they'll also have something nice down here to see. So this plaza, so I've joined up, used the same path color under the hotel for this plaza. And it's going to be a plaza of two, we got the big section here and the little section here. This area I want to have something for them to see. An attraction that's not a massive building, basically. And then this is going to be separated into half. So we're going to have seating for what I assume would be a restaurant inside, outside. And then the other half will just have basic seating. Oh, and there's a little thing. So I don't know, I didn't show this, but I've put this little fiery plinth here. And to me, this would be like a memorial to Richard Hammond. So this would be inscribed with Richard Hammond's thing. If we had a John Hammond statue, not Richard Hammond. If we had a John Hammond statue, I would put that here, but we don't. But yeah, this would be inscribed with about John Hammond, and that would be like a little memorial for him. What is your most wanted feature for Jurassic World Evolution 2? I suppose that kind of depends what you classify as a feature. I think if we were going off like any sort of big, something that's fairly not game changing, but fairly game, adds something to the game. I don't know, a feature conjures up ideas that are more than just decorations to place. A feature is something that is more than that. Any Platyosaurus replacement recommendations? As in an animal you can use for Platyosaurus in a park. I'm just trying to think about what sort of features I think would really improve the game. Okay, actually, I have come up with something. So, a feature that would really improve the game drastically. The option to recolor and alter the design of, so basically give all the menus we have for the amenity buildings to every other building in the game. Let me change the color of this hotel. Let me change the decorative aspect of this hotel. Let me change where the entrance for this bloody hotel is so I can have it in the middle if I want to. Let us be able to change every, give that amenity system to other buildings. Because the fact it is limited to just the amenities is a disappointment, but also makes Frontier's life harder. And I'll give you an example of this, okay? Let's just take the viewing platform. We have 1, 2, 3 designs of viewing platform here. That means that's 3 assets that require loading into the game. Now, why can't these 3 be model sets like the amenities? The amenities has Jurassic World panels, Jurassic World concrete, and Jurassic Park concrete. Why can't we have a single tower with Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, DFW? And then why can't we then recolor these buildings? Why can't we alter the roof of the second building? Why can't we alter the decorations outside the building? And then all you'd need to do is have one generic viewing tower, which you could then modify to be whatever design you like. And in the game modes where you're restricted, you just don't let them change the main design, but you let them change everything else. It's not difficult to do, in my opinion. Okay, now I think the restaurant tables I want to make sort of quite classy, so And we're going to have some with the parasols up. Like that. And some with the parasols down. Another tip for people if they want their seating areas to look more realistic. Don't have them all as parasols up. Have some with the parasols down. It's just a bit more realistic. So they're the restaurant tables. And then here we're going to have just like the generic seating areas. Now, maybe people who aren't staying at the hotel but just want somewhere to sit. And we're actually gonna leave this space here. There's nothing more annoying than going to a restaurant, sitting down at a table, and hearing the people behind you or next to you better than you can hear people over your table. So we're going to leave a big gap between the people who are just generically sitting down and the people who are sitting down to have food. We're going to leave that gap. Now, this is where you guys come in. I want there to be an attraction here in this little gap. Something the kids might go off and have a look at while the parents are being boring at the dinner table. What could we do in this gap here? Being that it's quite a small gap, give me some ideas. I'm going to challenge you guys. Hello, Aiden. I'm doing good. And what are my pronouns? I am a he. Always have been, always will be a he. Or you can just call me Fletcher or Fletch if you prefer. Hello, Jordan. Here from Reddit. Love getting ideas for my own park builds. Let's see what you have to offer. Well, this is the park so far. Like, this is literally just the start of the park. But do feel free to ask me any questions. What decorations do we have again? Well, we do have those. One idea I did have was to do like a Mr. DNA thing. So we have like Mr. DNA here at the front, and then we have like some amber things around, and then maybe like the Spinosaurus skull at the end. Just like giving it a kind of like a pretend experience for the kids to go and see, this is how we're gathering the DNA and blah, blah, blah. But then I also thought about maybe we could just have like turn this into a sand pit if we got rid of the path, and we could just put the sand texture here and have like a sand pit. But then we don't really have anything for the kids to like. We don't have any swings or climbing frames or stuff like that. That's something I do think would be cool to have as a decorative item, like playground furniture. Or we could have like the castle tower here. Or we could just be kind of just have the Spinosaurus skeleton here. But I kind of want it to be a bit different. Or, I mean, we could just be kind of simple and just have, like... Oh, there's a loo up here. That would also go in here. It doesn't I suppose it doesn't have to be an attraction. Maybe there's an outside toilet here for folks. The raptor pen. The raptor pen is just a bit too big. But, I mean, we could have, like... the castle here. That's a bit big for a playground tower. Eureka's castle. I just rolled my Jeep and slid on the ground like 5 feet. The Jeep physics in this game are preposterous. Now, I think I'm going to stick with that. Actually, what other... No, I think I'm going to stick with that first idea I had, which was to do like a Mr. DNA thing here. So we're going to put Mr. DNA down. Does Mr. DNA have lights? He doesn't. Let's give him one. Bum, bum, bum. And then let's grab these amber things. So let's maybe have one of those. Like, if I know anything about like kids' playground furniture, it's always quite long, so you can have multiple children at each one without them getting in the way of each other. And maybe we could then do like a... Does Yay Holopterus have a statue? It does. Okay, and we need something that's kind of... What do these kind of... No, they don't really work as... I just have like a... Man, why are these things so big? What happened to the small ones? I need something that could be like a... Yeah, there isn't really an object that works for it. Actually, that could work. That could work. Let's grab the Yay Halot. Oh, you... Yeah, that works. And then obviously, if you've got kids here, you're going to need something to shade them. So let's just put like a couple of these up. maybe have like... way too big of a box. What's we don't really have anything smaller. Yeah. That'll do. You know, we get the general gist. They come and they, you know, they have a look at the amber and they do some like pretend digging, and then, you know, here's the Ahelopterus, blah blah blah. Sorry, I got distracted from chat with all that. Let me have a catch up. Do a goat statue. Maybe somewhere else in the park. What colour shall we make Mr. DNA? I think blue works quite well. I like making the areas sometimes around statues that sort of Jurassic World hologram blue, because then you can kind of play pretend and say like this is actually a holographic display of the animal. Fletcher, the other day in my history class we were watching a World War II documentary and some kid said the bad guy has a good point. Oof. Actually though, I have experienced something like that as a teacher. So I can share this with you because I don't have to name names. Basically what happened was this kid was, we were doing mock exam, end of unit tests. And this kid, it was a question about African slavery. And the kid's answer to the question was basically along the lines of, the Africans deserved to be slaves because they were stupid enough to listen to the white people. I'm paraphrasing the answer, but that was basically the gist of what she was saying. Yeah, I know, right? Obviously, completely... Yeah, Dino Army already knows the story. But obviously, completely missing the point, shall we say, of learning about the slave trade. However, that being said, in her defense, from the position of a 13-year-old, I can kind of understand that thinking, because it's quite logical thinking for us. It's that sort of, well, why would you listen to... Because we live in such a very different world, I can understand why a child cannot comprehend the idea of somebody being forced to do something they don't want to do, because we don't live in that sort of world anymore. And I can understand why to them it may seem kind of strange not to, you know, to assume the truth. Obviously, it's a completely terrible answer, and I actually had to report... I had to report the kid's answer, and we then had to get the parents involved, and I actually think the way we responded to her saying that was actually just as bad as her saying that in the first place. I actually think the response that the school did is just as bad as what she put down on the exam paper. Because I think it completely missed the kind of opportunity to do the learning part, as opposed to just the telling the student off for having what is quite a logical thought. a mistaken thought, but perfectly logical in terms of the world we live in. But yes, a 13-year-old should know better, and it's clear that there was some elements of the education that she got. Clearly, there was some misunderstanding, is what I will say. Luckily, she wasn't one of my students, so it's all good. She's not one of mine, so it wasn't my fault. that's that's the way, that's the way I look at it. But yeah. I do quite like the light blue here, but I'm going to switch to this sort of lantern-like orange. So I think that works very nicely for sort of generic lighting. Over here, we will keep the lighting as white, because this is obviously the area where they're going to be sitting down and eating. So we'll leave that as white. Also, Spark the Rex, can we please be a little careful on the use of capital letters, please? Not telling you off or anything, just please be, just a bit careful on that, if you wouldn't mind. Right, okay, so things are... What's this Yay-Helopterus doing all the way out here? I think this area is basically done. I think that looks pretty decent. For an entrance. So, I can take Yay-Helopterus off the list, can't I? So, Yay-Helopterus comes off the list. Good. What dinosaur shall we do next? Suggestions in the comments. Well, the guests have nothing to eat and drink. That's true. We need to think about where we're going to put some amenities. But I think we need to make sure they're away from the Yay-Helopterus' territory. Because otherwise they'll go and land on them, won't they? Compi, Min My Dryo, Combi, Amarga. Okay, we'll do something for the Compsognathus. Just to please Dino Army. Where shall we have the compies? I think the compies we will have as a dedicated enclosure, so we won't make people go in them. And I think what we'll do is we'll basically cut... That's a very big area for compies there, actually. Where can we have them? Because I don't want it to be too big of a space, because compies are tiny. Man, I'm just saying, if some random lizard bat thing stole my hot dog, I would be pissed. So Dane did have a close encounter with a seagull trying to steal a sandwich he was eating. Which I'm sure he will regale you all with the story at some point. Just take one of the decorative cages and boom, compy exhibit. Just one of those sections instead of both. Yeah, I mean, I suppose this single section here would work as an exhibit. And we could do something about the edge. Okay, so let's color in. I think for the compy exhibit, I want a desert exhibit. Because I think the white sand is going to show up the compies really well. And we can make use of like the castle pieces for decoration. This is going to all be compy. This tiny little exhibit. Now, for safety, we are going to adjust the terrain height slightly. Because, you know, we do need to think about making sure these animals don't escape too much. And it also gives us that natural barrier that we can put rocks and stuff along. Yeah. It's a bit iffy down here, but we can stick some rocks in there just to improve that. Now, for a wall, let's definitely use those castle pieces here, because obviously that's gonna really suit the enclosure. We are going to have it cut across. And then we're gonna twist it slightly, not too much. Hearing all that water, it's just making me miss waterfalls. And then the rest of this we'll just put in rocks, I think. And we'll go with some nice desert style rocks. That'll do. We'll put a couple of rocks in here. And we'll put a couple at the end as well. Right, obviously we need to put in the invisible fence. We're going to try and make sure we cover up any invisible fence we do put in with either water or more likely trees, or at least try and cover most of it up. Right, water. It's gonna be a struggle to put it where I want it to be. That will about do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use these really big trees to cover up the edge of the enclosure. Sink it down. Hey presto. instant big bush, basically. Don't quote me on that. Hello, Glitch. Welcome back. There you go. Just covers up the edge of the enclosure a little bit. We'll put a few big bushes in as well. Hey Fletcher, can you show us how to make an exhibit out of the viewing log? I can. What's the time? 22:17. Yeah, we'll finish this enclosure, and then the next enclosure we make, I'll use the viewing log, and I'll show you how I would use it. In terms of Barger, in terms of what you'd like to see, do you mean sort of with mods or without mod use? Let me know. Because if you don't want me to use mods, I will try something with mods. Okay, excellent. That gives me a lot of variation. We're going to put in like a little bit of castle here. So that we can pretend the compies kind of have this as like a housing area. Let's think about plants. Palms that can be sank into the ground. Bump. And bump. Fletcher, the thing with this habitat is that you'd have to squint to see the compies. You would. But then that is primarily the problem with the compies in the first place, I feel. And it's why I really don't think they should have been in the game. But they are there, and they are one of our small species, so we will make use of them. This is called layering. You make sure you have vegetation of different heights in an area. Just helps make your vegetation look that much better. Always try and have more than... let me guess. It's stuck. Yes, it is. Oh, are we saved? Are we safe? No food. Are we gonna move eventually, or are we stuck there? You see, what I think happens with these pterosaurs is they run out of stamina, and then they don't There we go. They run out of stamina, and when they run out of stamina, they get stuck. Hopefully he's going to go straight over. Don't rest, go straight for the feeders. Thank you. There we go. Bit of a close call with that one. Ooh, itchy eye. Sorry, 1 second. Bye-bye, Jacob. Thanks for tuning in. Name him Hunger. Cruel. This palm is way too high, so I'm just going to drop it down a little. And I do want to kind of a couple of others, just dotted around. Lovely. Compies, we will just randomize the colors for. I don't really care about the compies too much. They're only going in here because then I can say I've actually used them in a park. And Dino Army can finally stop going on at me about them. Oh, bugger, I forgot food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's quickly chuck in a carnivore feeder. Let's have it. Let's just have it in this corner here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is with the brown brush, I'm just going to figure out where we want sort of path to go. So I think we'll obviously have like a path running down here and then along here. This will be another enclosure, I think. We can have the path go all the way up to match it. We can probably have amenities over here. Where can we have like viewing? Do you want to stick kind of like this mountain to be the edge of an enclosure for something? Or have like a walk-in enclosure that starts kind of here, and then have you walk through it and you have like the river. And have it kind of end sort of here. So you've got like the mountain on one side, the river on the other. Metri would be cool by the mountain. Yeah, I don't think Metri suits a walk-in enclosure though. Sorry, I'm just having a think about where I want to put the viewing log enclosure. I'm just thinking about where I want it to go. Sorry, Spark. I'm just having a think about where I want to put the viewing log enclosure that someone has asked for. You know, maybe here? Or maybe in the back here? Or maybe... No, I quite like this little end block here. I think this has, because we could have like a pedestrian bridge over the water here to over here, and this just kind of has this like natural end point where you'd quite like another animal to go, and we can extend the water in a bit, or give them access to this water over there. Let's do that. What dino are we doing for the log enclosure? That's a good point. I think Barger was the one who asked for it, so maybe Barger should give us a suggestion. If he's still here, of course. Where do I want the edge to be? So the path... pedestrian path is basically going to cross there. And we'll go off that way. So this is the edge here. Minmai? Minmai I'd quite like to leave for the walkthrough. I'm thinking, considering we're going to use the viewing log, I think a carnivore. I think we'll use this for Metri, I think. Let's put Metriacanthosaurus in here. Now, obviously Metriacanthosaurus, big carnivore, it's a threat. So again, I'm going to do terrain lowering so that we can have a nice bit of defense from the animal getting out. Now I don't mind cutting into this mountain because this is basically where we're going to have the viewing galleries. And we're gonna keep this low ground up to about there. And then we're gonna smooth out the rest. So we've kind of got a two-level gallery. Two-level paddock for the Metries. Just want to kind of smooth that out a bit. Now, Metriacanthosaurus, quite a dangerous animal, but not too dangerous. Sorry, I'm a stickler for getting this correct. Okay, and then obviously for extra protection, always do a double wall. There we go. Perfect. Actually, a bit too flat. I want much more of a... That's a little better. Yeah. This gap in the middle, we'll put a floodlight or something in here. I did know Troodon is not a valid genus. It's a dubious one, as they like to say. But then so much of paleontology is actually quite dubious. If you study it for any length of time, you'll realize just how little evidence we do have for a lot of these dinosaur species. It's why it always makes me laugh when inevitably you'll get... This is probably some of my Britishness coming in, but inevitably you'll get like Argentina will show up with like a new dinosaur and it'll be, oh, it's the biggest dinosaur ever, blah 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 blah, and it's like, how much of it have you found? Oh, you found half a leg bone. Right, okay. Or it's like good old Atrociraptor. Do you know how little of Atrociraptor we actually we have? We have basically nothing. We have so little of Atrociraptor, and then, you know, Jurassic World went and made that huge creature for their movie, and it's like, we don't even... It's probably not even a valid genus. Okay, so there is the front of the enclosure. Next up, I'm going to position the viewing logs. Now, what I want to do is have probably 2 or maybe 3 Don't know how many will fit in here, but we're going to put them along the edge of this mountain. Now this is the bit that usually is kind of annoying. Because as you can see, the actual terrain goes through the log. So you may have to do a little bit of changing to the actual mountain behind. That's... Ooh. I was about to say I could live with that, but I probably couldn't. We'll just put bushes or something behind. Do we want it at ground level, or do we... You know, let's have a few. Let's have like one or two, one at ground level and one slightly higher up. And we will hide that section with a tree or something. Yep. And then maybe just for a bit of extra effect, maybe have some of these at the front. Yeah, just to act as some natural boundary there. And then we'll hide the end of this with a nice puffy bush. Couple of big trees. Tree of a slightly different color. We're going to use some of my much preferred ginkgos. Just to cover the mountainside here. Nice. Fletcher, maybe for the next anniversary of Jurassic World Evolution 1, you would go back and stream that game. Ooh. That would be a struggle. That would definitely be a struggle. Barger, what sort of habitat do you want for the Metriacanthosaurus? What sort of biome would you like to have? Swamp. Interesting. Swamp's going to be quite difficult to do. because this is not a flat enclosure. But I will do my best. So let's have another patch of water there. One kind of there. Around there. Around there. Let's try and smooth out some more of this terrain. That's not too bad. Right. Want that rock texture. We'll turn the intensity down low. Whoa, that was too high. I just want it to look a bit like cracked mud. Yeah, that's good. Okay, colors of stone for a swamp. Let's go with these. Start with the big ones. Let's put a couple of these in as well. Good. Right, trees for a swamp. I'm going to go with some quite big bushy ones again. We can leave them fairly tall. Good. Fletcher, you deserve more subscribers. Well, that's good to hear, Spark. I mean, we're not doing too badly at the moment. We hit our 2,000 subs before the end of the year, which we were really, really happy with. You also have to remember that we're not doing this to like make money. it's one of the, I suppose it's one of the differences between me and say a lot of other YouTubers is I haven't come into this with the express desire to make cash. I mean, talking of things of that nature, Google will be confirming us for monetization pretty soon, so we can have donations and stuff. But I'm not going to be monetizing videos. I'm not going to be putting adverts on the videos, not at this point anyway. Probably not for a long time, if ever. Donations will be coming back, but that's pretty much it for the time being. Like, I'm not here to make money. I'm here to have a good time with folks and help them with their park building, and hopefully give you guys inspiration and ideas for your own parks. That's principally what I want to do with the channel, as well as just I do play other games, of course. This is not just a dinosaur YouTube channel. This is a general game playing channel. Yes, Jurassic World Evolution 2 is our main one, but the War Thunder videos have been doing surprisingly well as well. So I think people are finally coming to understand that we are, we're going to be playing all sorts of games. And Dane, once his PC problems are sorted, is obviously going to be playing Paleo Pines again for people. But also hopefully Planet Zoo. He also plays Warframe and stuff, so if people want to see him play that, we'd also be sure he'll be up for streaming that for you folks. I kind of wanted more logs here, but didn't really get many. So one thing I think when doing swamps, one thing I think people get wrong is they put too many trees down. They fill the space with trees. Swamps generally have very poor quality soil. Usually. So really big trees and plants and stuff tend to be quite difficult to grow in these sorts of environments. I'm not saying you don't get that ever, you do. But generally, quite a lot of swamps have poor quality soil for nutrition. So you'll probably find a lot more sort of shorter lengths. Well, this will probably be the last biome, Spark, but what we can do is if you let me know... if you turn up to next week's stream, or I might do a stream on Wednesday, we'll see. We can start with your request. Oh, and I haven't even spoken about what I thought of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I thought it was pretty good. I think it's a very compelling story. I thought they did a very good job of transforming what is quite a complicated and difficult narrative into a film. I wouldn't say that it's a horror movie. I would say that it's kind of horror adjacent. It's kind of it kind of deals with themes and ideas that are pretty horrific, but it's not a horror film. So if you don't go in expecting to be, scared, I think you'll enjoy it. And also, just something else that comes to mind about the earlier conversation about the games we play on the channel. Because I know some people do kind of get confused about that, like that we're not a dinosaur channel. It's actually really important to us that we're not represented as a dinosaur channel, because, and I think this is something that YouTubers like Best in Slot and stuff, who devote a lot of their time to dinosaur games, are going to have to realize in the future, near future, is that without Jurassic World being a thing, and with probably no new Jurassic World Evolution 2, Jurassic World Evolution 3 is probably unlikely. What are you going to do in the meantime? There are games like Prehistoric Kingdom, of course, but you've got to have content, and I think that's something dinosaur YouTubers are going to have to figure out in the months and years ahead. But that's why we're not a dinosaur channel. Because I was like, yeah, I don't want to be stuck with not being able to make content. Yeah, I think we're reasonably ready for. I do kind of want to get rid of that really ugly transition there. I think we would be ready to have Metriacanthosaurus go in here in the next stream. I just want to put down the lighting. I want the lighting to face like that. And we're just going to sink it into the ground and kind of have it there. So it'll illuminate the edges of the fence and illuminate whatever is in front here, which is probably going to be a nice big chunky path. And then this will cross the water. We'll make like a mock little bridge. And then it'll be into this area, sort of hidden behind this tree line. And we could have something here. I'm thinking maybe turning this little spit of land into something like a... Actually, see, that curve. Ooh. Maybe try and put like the aquatic exhibit in here, or at the end. Don't know. I'll think about that. But yeah, the Metriacanthosaurus will go there. In there, next stream we'll decide on some skins for the Metriacanthosaurus. We will figure out the next exhibit for Spark the Rex. Let's just double check those Yehilopterus. They're still hovering around the guest area, which is what I wanted. They're so cute. They really are adorable. And I think they are the perfect family-friendly species, I think. Yeah, excellent. So, I think I'm going to call it there. We're a couple of minutes off anyway. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Next week, it will be a War Thunder video on Friday, possibly another Jurassic World Evolution stream on Wednesday. It'll either be a Jurassic World Evolution stream on Wednesday, or it will be a... Okay, well, in that case, Spark, what I'll do is next week there'll be a Jurassic World Evolution 2 video. There'll be a stream on Sunday for Jurassic World Evolution, so you can join in, Spark. And Friday will be a War Thunder video as well. I don't know what topic I'm going to tackle for this week's Jurassic World Evolution 2 video, simply because the Lagoon Park isn't completely finished yet. I still need to do the decorating. So it might be the park tour of that park, or it might be something different. Yeah. You'll find out next week, I suppose. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Spark the Rex has been here. Glitch Gaming was here for a long time. Jacob Barger. Dino Army is here, and I think he's lurking in the background. Gajira has been here. Aiden was here. Jordan was here. And Turbo Soul, and if I've missed anyone, I do apologise. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Wherever you are, enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and until next time, stay safe and good night.